In today's Football Fix, we have got huge Nations League news, a brand new footballer statue, and some Ruud van Nistelrooy news. Starting off with the Nations League, where San Marino have done the impossible. After going nearly 20 years without a win, they have managed 2 in a few months, as well as a draw, to pick up 7 points from 4 games and top their group in the Nations League. Tonight they won 3-1 against Liechtenstein, which is the first time in their history as an international team that they have scored 2 or more in a single game. So, massive shout out to San Marino. That is amazing and just shows that in the lower leagues in the Nations League that there is interest for these nations and it is a big deal. Following on from news we reported recently, Liverpool have supposedly made a £35 million bid to sign Bournemouth defender Milos Kerkez, but the Cherries want close to £45 million. He has been playing in all of their Premier League games so far this season, and he has been incredibly impressive. He actually got some goal involvements against Manchester City recently. So he has shown that he can compete at the highest level. Liverpool have been struggling with Robertson over the last couple of campaigns, and Tsimikas hasn't really filled in that void. So they are looking to spend big money to replace what has been a phenomenal player for them throughout Klopp's reign. But now under Arne Slot, they're looking for that different profile of player. This is an expensive signing to spend on a left back, but we'll see more as this story develops. Big international football news as FIFA and UEFA have decided to continue and maintain Russia's suspension from all international football, meaning they are not going to be in the 2026 World Cup. It is a shame that their national team is sort of a victim of what their government and everything like that are doing with their country, because Russia in their own home World Cup were actually really impressive, and some of the names that came out of that you never would have thought it going in. So it would be cool to see them back and see what this newer generation of Russian players could get us, but unfortunately for them, they are confirmed out. Managerial news as Ruud van Nistelrooy lost out on the Coventry job to Frank Lampard. Not fully official, but it looks like that is the case and it is just waiting to be confirmed. There is news today that Leicester have spoken to Ruud van Nistelrooy in the last 24 hours, and he has been added to the shortlist of managers with the backup plans that they are making in case Steve Cooper loses his job. Leicester face a very tough run of fixtures all the way up until the new year, and so Cooper keeping his job looks like it might be unlikely if results go the way that they are expected. Graham Potter and David Moyes have been reported as being top of the priority list, and they are both open to working with Leicester. Graham Potter looked close to signing in the summer ahead of Steve Cooper, but due to worries about the director of football position, as well as the what looked to be very, very likely points deduction at the time, he eventually decided against it. But maybe now would face that opportunity again. But we'll have to wait and see whether Steve Cooper does keep his job, and if not, will Van Nistelrooy get that job? Ousmane Dembele is already thinking about retirement. He has revealed recently that he wants to retire at the age of 34, which is in 6 and a bit years' time. Then he wants to get into the real estate business, investing in Africa and in France. Fair play for having your future thought about after football, but do you really need to be focusing on that when you've still got 6 or 7 years ahead of you? He could potentially go on even longer than that if he improves a little bit and feels like he has more left in him. So, interesting that that is what he is looking at right now when he's actually having a fantastic time in the last couple of seasons. Really seems to have bounced back from an injury-ravaged career. High-level reports coming out about Ruben Amorim and the fact that he is set to operate on a more modest budget compared to Erik ten Hag, and he's going to be tasked with maximising the untapped potential in the squad. This doesn't really come as much of a surprise because no one is going to pay the amount of money for the players that were brought in under Ten Hag. For example, Antony spending nearly £80 million on him. You'd probably be lucky to get 20 to 25 million back for him. So can Amorim get any more out of these players that look like they are basically a waste of money? Or are they going to have to try and cut their losses, sell some of these, and try and overhaul the squad? It is safe to say Amorim is going to have to take some time to get this done. It is not going to be a quick fix. That 600 odd million pounds that Ten Hag spent in his tenure as Man United manager, a lot of it seems to have been wasted money, and so this manager now has to take that and try and make the most of it. Hopefully the fans and the management of the club give him the time to do so. Tottenham Hotspur have decided to change their badge. This is what they had to say about it. They've removed the curved Tottenham Hotspur text from beneath the cockerel, and it enables them to increase their scale across different environments and stand proud as a true icon for the club. Once again, another minimalist design for a badge. A lot of these are repetitive, boring. For Spurs, it makes a little bit of sense because it is only getting rid of the text, and the cockerel has slightly changed colour, but aside from that, it is exactly the same. And speaking of Tottenham, Harry Kane has had his statue unveiled. A lot of comments talking about this one online and how it is comparable to the famous Ronaldo statue. I don't think it's quite as bad. However, once again, another footballer has had a statue made of them where the resemblance, you can sort of tell, but it really isn't great. I'm not sure what it is about statues and why they always seem to just not quite look like the person that they're representing, but it is still a historical show of what he has done for his country as a top England professional. That's it for today's news. I'll see you tomorrow.